Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Washington, Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news, so let me tell you, there's some serious buzz swirling around the NFC East right now, and it involves a potential blockbuster trade that could redefine the division's landscape. We're talking about the Philadelphia Eagles, a team that's been somewhat inconsistent this season, struggling to find their rhythm and facing some cap constraints, but still a team with Super Bowl aspirations. Now, sources close to the division suggest that the Eagles might be plotting to trade A.J. Brown, one of their most explosive wide receivers, to the Washington Commanders. And if this happens, it could be one of the most impactful moves we've seen in recent years, especially considering Brown's talent and the current state of the Commanders' offense. A.J. Brown is no ordinary wide receiver. He's a Pro Bowl star, a guy who's consistently demonstrated he can be a game changer. In 2025, he's put up 56 receptions for 699 yards and 6 touchdowns, despite dealing with some injuries that limited his snaps. His yards after catch, YAC, are impressive, around 4.8 yards per reception, and he's been targeted 87 times with a Pro Football Focus grade of 82. 4, which is quite solid for a receiver in a run-heavy offense aiming for efficiency. Brown's EPA per target sits at 0.18, indicating he's producing value with each opportunity, and he's shown flashes of being one of the most dynamic playmakers in the league. His career numbers are even more eye-popping: over 450 catches, more than 500 yards, and 50 touchdowns. That's the kind of guy who can elevate any offense. Now let's talk about the Eagles' current situation. They're sitting with a cap hit of around $5 million, which is pretty tight. They've been a bit skeptical about their run-heavy attack, which is averaging just 22.1 points per game, not terrible but not elite either. They're clearly prioritizing extensions for their offensive line after allowing 323 points this season, which indicates they're trying to shore up their protection and keep their quarterback upright. That said, they're also apparently open to moving Brown to free up some cap space and draft capital, especially considering their doubts about sustainability with their current offensive output, which has only scored about 262 points so far. Contrast this with the Washington Commanders, who sit at 3-9 but are trending upward in terms of their potential, especially if they can add a true game-changing receiver like Brown to their roster. Their offense has managed to put up 262 points, averaging about 21.8 points per game, which is decent but still room for improvement. Adding a player of Brown's caliber would be a massive boost, especially for quarterback Jaden Daniels, who's been looking for a reliable, elite target to take some pressure off Terry McLaurin. Brown's addition could lead to an immediate upgrade of over 25% in EPA per pass, meaning more explosive plays, more yards, and more touchdowns. Imagine what he could do with the deep ball. His ability to stretch the field would open up so many options for the Commanders' offense. What's even more exciting is the potential impact on the division standings and playoff odds. The betting odds for the Super Bowl have shifted dramatically, from over 12-0 to around 4-0 if Brown joins Washington. That's a huge jump, signaling that analysts see him as a true X-factor for postseason success. The Commanders would instantly become a top 10 offense if they acquire Brown, improving their chances against teams like the Bears and Rams. And with a more explosive attack, their win probability in the postseason could increase by around 18%. It's not just about adding a star, it's about transforming the entire team's outlook. Now, let's consider the bigger picture here. If Washington manages to land Brown, it would signal a new era for the franchise. They'd be positioning themselves as serious contenders, especially with their young core and the potential to develop further. Brown's ability to make contested catches, create yards after the catch, and provide that reliable deep threat makes him an ideal complement to McLaurin and the rest of the weapons. This move could also send a message to the division that Washington is not just content with being a middle-of-the-road team, but that they're willing to make bold moves to push for a deep playoff run. As for the Eagles, losing Brown would be a blow, especially given their current doubts about their offensive sustainability. Their reluctance to invest heavily in their offense and their cap limitations might mean they're forced into tough decisions this offseason. They might see trading Brown as a way to rebuild cap space and draft assets for future development, but it could also weaken their already inconsistent offense, giving the Commanders a better shot at overtaking them in the NFC East. This kind of trade isn't common in the NFL, especially involving a player of Brown's caliber, but it's not out of the realm of possibility considering the Eagles' current cap situation and their strategic priorities. The Commanders, on the other hand, would have to be willing to part with some draft capital and perhaps a player or two to make this happen, but the upside is enormous. Adding Brown would not just be a short-term boost. It would set the stage for Washington to contend for years to come, especially if they can pair him with a developing quarterback like Jaden Daniels. Looking ahead, if this trade materializes, it could change the entire dynamic of the NFC East. The Eagles might find themselves scrambling to rebuild their offense without Brown, and the Commanders could suddenly jump into the conversation as serious playoff contenders. The division would be more competitive than ever, with each team vying to establish dominance. Washington's fans, in particular, should be excited about the prospect of seeing their team land a player who can truly shift the balance of power. And let's not forget the broader implications. In a league where star power often dictates the postseason, acquiring a player like A.J. Brown could be the difference between a playoff appearance and a deep run. The NFL playoffs are all about matchups, momentum, and having that one special player who can take over a game. Brown has shown he can do exactly that, and his addition to the Commanders would be a statement to everyone in the league that Washington is back in the hunt, ready to make noise. Of course, this is still speculative at this point. The NFL trade deadline, offseason moves, and front office strategies will all play a role in whether this deal actually happens. But for now, fans should keep their eyes peeled because the potential of A.J. Brown donning the burgundy and gold could be one of the most exciting storylines of the upcoming offseason. It's a move that could define the Commanders' future, reinvigorate their roster, and send shockwaves through the NFC East. So what do you think, Commanders fans? Is this a move you'd love to see happen? Would A.J. Brown be the perfect piece to elevate your team into serious playoff contention? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and tell us how you see this unfolding. And remember, I'll be back soon with more updates, rumors, and analysis on everything Washington Commanders. Stay tuned, stay passionate, and let's keep this conversation going. We're in this together, and the best is yet to come.